Hey Canucks fans, hope you are well. Different type of breakdown video for you today. Instead of breaking down a memorable play, a great save, an amazing goal, a funny sequence, instead I'm going to break down President of Hockey Operations Jim Rutherford, his letter to season ticket members that we received on Wednesday. I had a couple days to reflect on it. I know a lot of people in the media, a lot of fans have been talking about it as well. So I thought it'd be great to summarize all those thoughts into this video. And as always, would love your feedback in the comment section. So let's get going. There's Jim Rutherford. He starts off, to our members, on behalf of Canucks Sports and Entertainment's ownership, our hockey operations team, and our players, I want to thank our season ticket members and all of our fans for your continued support. We know how much this team means to you. Standard opening paragraph acknowledging that it's not just him writing. He's talking on behalf of ownership, hockey ops, players, that basically the entire franchise, thanking our season ticket members. Well, you're welcome. And we know how much this team means to you. Yes, and I always say that I freely, no one's forcing me to, but I freely spend a lot of time, energy, and money on this team. And I'm glad that he acknowledged that how much this team means to most Canucks fans. The passion for the Canucks fan base is simply incredible. That's something we will never take for granted. Well, that's good. This season has been difficult for all of us, but especially for you, our fans. We had expectations going into the season that were not met. All of us share in your frustration. This team needs to get better, and we will get better. So a couple of things here, still standard, but I'm glad that Rutherford did acknowledge that this is a very passionate, and he didn't say it, but it's very knowledgeable fan base as well. I think some people think they know more than they actually do, but that's for another vlog. And the acknowledgement that this season has been difficult, has been disappointing and frustrating for not just fans, but for everyone in the franchise. And yeah, just like the team had high hopes, I think that many fans did too. I know I told anyone that would listen that the Canucks would finish third in the Pacific Division this season. So I was a little bit off on that. And I think it's good that they acknowledge that it has not been a good season. And once again, this team needs to get better, and we will get better. I came to Vancouver 15 months ago with a plan to build this team into a legitimate contender, one that can ultimately compete for the Stanley Cup. Even though the season did not go as we hoped, our vision for this team has not changed. I think that's a pretty strong paragraph, but I think it's fair. We knew that Rutherford came in with a history of winning. He's won multiple cups before with him as either as a GM or president or whatever it may be. But in a management position, he has led teams to Stanley Cups. And that's what he wants to do here. He wants to build this franchise into a contender and ultimately a winner as well. And I do agree. I believe him when he says that the vision for the team has not changed. And you saw a lot of the moves that they've made since he's been here in the past 15 months. I think they do point in that direction. And I do think that we are closer to contending now at the end of March of 2023 than we were back in the spring of, I should say December of 2021 when he first came here. Now let's get to the good stuff. I'm going to break this paragraph into two parts. The first part, we are currently the 5th youngest team in the league, and we believe in our core of elite players. Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, and Thatcher Demko are exceptional players who continue to elevate their game. I don't know how you calculate 5th youngest team. I'm not saying I don't believe him, but do you count only the starters? Do you count only the roster players? Do you count guys signed a certain contract? I just don't know how you figure that out, but I believe them. But more importantly, the belief in the core of elite players. And they name 4. And we don't have to go into why they named 3 of them. Pettersson, Hughes, and Demko. I think everyone knows that those are elite players, and it's great that we have at least one forward, Petey, one defenseman, Hughes, one great goaltender, Demko. So, and all 3 of them, especially Demko in the second half of the season, but Petey and Hughes have had outstanding seasons. A lot of people have been talking about JT Miller, who's included in this list. Now, there's some saying, well, then for sure they're not going to trade him now, because how can you tout him as one of your elite players to all of your loyal season ticket members and then still try and trade him before his no move clause kicks in on July 1st. So that's like kind of one argument. There's no way they're going to trade him. And there's still the other side that says, no, just because his name's in this letter, and I'm going to say that a couple times today, just because his name's in the letter doesn't mean you can't trade him. If anything, it actually builds his value up because you're calling him an elite player. So it's so hard to tell where the truth is. I don't believe, I don't put all my stock into, oh, there's no way they're going to trade him now because he's in this letter. But I also don't fully believe that, oh, they are going to trade him now just because he's in this letter. I actually think this letter, in terms of that, doesn't make a difference. I think most season ticket members, I shouldn't say that. I can't speak for them. I know I am not going to freak out if they end up trading JT Miller just because they mentioned him in this letter. But he is making $56 million after the season over the next 7 seasons. So it would be more strange if you pay him that much money and he's not considered a core elite player for you. Because then why would you spend $56 million on him, if that makes sense? I guess you could use that argument for OEL, but that's for another vlog too. So Pettersson, Hughes, JT Miller, and Thatcher Demko. Then the second half is interesting as well. We are equally excited about the emerging new players on our roster, which includes Andrei Kuzmenko, Ilya Mikheyev, Ethan Bear, and the recently acquired Filip Hronek. This is a terrific base to build upon. There's still much work to do to upgrade areas of our team, i.e. third line center and defense, please. This includes being active in the college and European free agent markets, along with managing our cap space by using all options available to us. Okay, there's a lot here. We're starting to see them dip into the college free agency. European, not so much yet, but maybe that will come this summer. Managing cap space being obviously an issue for this team forever. But let's talk about the 4 players they mentioned. So they just mentioned the core of elite players, PD, Hughes, Demko, and Miller. Now they mentioned Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, Bear, and Hronek. Yes, they don't call them the core of elite players, but they call them emerging new players on our roster. And the fact, that they said emerging new players. So these are all guys that this is their first season with the team. So they didn't mention Myers or Besser or Garland because those guys aren't new players. So Andrei Kuzmenko, no argument here. He is excited. I mean, he's exciting, gets us excited, and he's wonderful to have on the team. Ilya Mikheyev, a rough start because he got injured in preseason. And he was just starting to find his way when he got shut down. So there's a lot there, and he still has a few more years left here. Ethan Bear is an interesting one. We had that argument about, well, just because you're named in this letter doesn't mean you're going to stay or you're not going to stay. We know his situation. He's a pending RFA. You got to qualify him at least $2.2 million. Some are going to say that he's going to want about 2.5. But then if you still have Hronek and Myers, can you afford to play Ethan Bear $2.5 million as maybe a third pairing right shot D-man? Others say no, that's because they're probably going to move on from Myers in the summer, and then you have Hronek and Bear as your top 2 on your right. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, but the same argument about, I'm not going to base too much on the fact that Ethan Bear's name is in this letter. To me, it doesn't mean that they're locked into him and he's going to be a core player forever. At the same time, it doesn't mean that they're not going to re-sign him because, this argument is actually weaker because at least with JT Miller, you could look at trading him because he's under contract for the next 7 years. With Ethan Bear, no, if you don't sign him, he just walks. Even as an RFA, he just walks. So the Ethan Bear one's kind of interesting because I think he's being good. He's been good for the price we paid for him, but he hasn't been great. And I know the market is split on whether or not they should re-sign Ethan Bear, especially considering how much he might want to make. And then Filip Hronek, I know this was the one trade during the trade deadline time that kind of went against everything else the Canucks were doing, moving Shen, getting Josh Bloom, getting Kratsov, and getting more picks. And then of course in the Horvat trade. So this is the one that actually costs more from a terms of, it seems like we were buying instead of selling. But Hronek, 3 of his 4 games, I think have been really good. He kind of hit the wall last game. So kind of interesting that they name 8 players in this one paragraph. So I think spent enough time there, but it was still interesting to see. Let's go to the second page now, where they start talking about, now they go from the players to the coaching staff. A big part of the development of this group will be the work of new head coach Rick Tocchet and his staff. We are already seeing improvements under Rick's leadership. He is implementing the style of hockey we want to see this group play and holding the players accountable. So let's stop there. Yes, you can't argue with the results since Rick Tocchet has come in. More structure, better penalty kill, better breakout, activation from the D, getting hemmed in a little bit less in their own zone, giving up fewer 2-on-1s, although we still do that, odd man rushes. And then obviously a lot of players playing really well under him, especially, Pettersson and Hughes were great for the whole season, but Miller and Besser have been a lot better under Rick Tocchet. So I think he does hold the players accountable. He's completely different than the everybody's pal, Bruce Boudreau, who I still like, but you can't argue with the results that Tocchet is having. Yes, I know it's a softer schedule. Yes, I know they're kind of playing with nothing to lose, but still, even from the eye test, I think the team is playing a lot better. So a comment to Tocchet, of course, Gonchar and Foote have helped a lot with defense, and then you have still the holdovers in people like Mike Yeo and Jason King as well. We have a unified vision that runs from Abbotsford in the AHL to the Canucks in the NHL. Coach Jeremy Colleton is doing exceptional work in Abbotsford and is in regular communication with Rick on development of our players. Our hockey development staff has also been highly strengthened by the addition of Henrik and Daniel Sedin. We are lucky to have 2 Hall of Famers working with our players in both Abbotsford and Vancouver. Proof is in the pudding. Abbotsford has clinched a playoff spot. They're 3rd in their division. Many players are playing really well, and then when they come up to Vancouver, they do not look out of place. You think of Christian Wolanin before he got hurt. Juleson has been pretty good since he's come up. Even Neil Zaman got sent down on Christmas time, came back almost like a different player. So, and then if they're working with guys like Hoglander and Jack Rathbone and others, they're doing some really good work. Archer Seelovs, he looks like he's going to be a good goaltender for us in the future. So not everyone's doing great, but a lot of players are. So a good recognition of the work that the Abbotsford coaching staff has been doing. And of course, anytime you see Daniel and Henrik, footage of them working with some of our players and learning from 2 true Hall of Famers, that's pretty awesome as well. So let's get to the end. Overall, I am proud of the hockey operations team we have put in place here. We have added bright and diverse minds to our management group over the past year in Patrick Alvin, Cameron Granado, Emily Castonguay, Derek Clancy, along with Ryan Johnson and Stan Smeal. We have exceptional people working in our pro and amateur scouting departments. I'm confident in this group as we embark on upgrading our roster and selecting a top pick in this year's NHL draft. As I record this, the Canucks have fallen a bit. Now they're 8th from the bottom and not as high as 10th. So they still have a chance to win the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. And yes, a nod here to all the work. Remember when he first came in, it seemed like they were doing more changes to the front office staff and management staff than they were to the players on the ice. But they have assembled a pretty strong team as we see here. And then finally, we are excited for what we are building and always appreciate your support. Your passion and commitment are what drives this franchise. Together, we can show the rest of the league why Vancouver is the best place to play, and more importantly, the best place to win. There's a lot there. There's a lot of optimism there, but you're looking at the founder of the GLCPC, so you know I'm going to be positive and hopeful. And then a big signature, Jim Rutherford, President Hockey Operations. So, taken as a whole, I'm actually fine with this letter. I don't think it was just lip service. I don't think it was, trying to deflect from anything, because actually things that are happening on the ice are quite good right now. So, to me, the letter is fine. It's fair. It's honest. It's not groundbreaking, but at least it's an assertive statement that they know that this has been a tough year and that they're still committed to turning this franchise around. I think the most interesting parts to me are when he mentions the core of elite players, then he mentions the emerging new players, and then and those are the players you can, I guess that's the one thing that most people are talking about. You can read a lot or a little into at least the players that are named. And then of course he recognizes the coaching staff, Abbotsford, the front office staff, and again, a reiteration to the fans, thanking them for their support. So overall, when I got this was fine. Like, I didn't say, oh man, this sucks, I don't believe it, or this is just lip service. Nor was I overly inspired. It's not like I went out and upgraded my season tickets to the most expensive or anything like that. I think it was a fair, transparent State of the Union address, and I'm sure it's going to be echoed when they do the year-end media availability at the conclusion of this season. So Canucks fans, let me know. Let me know what you think about this letter. What stands out to you? Are you okay as you read it, as you listen to it, as you see it on your screen, or do you have problems with it? And if so, tell me which parts of the letter you have the most issues with. I'd love to know. Leave it in the comments below. Shout out to my sponsors, Advanced Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. And thanks to all of you for your support. Always appreciate you. Never take you for granted. Enjoy today's game. It's the Canucks. It's Calgary. It's the annual Pride Night. I'll be going to the game with my lovely wife, Gail. Can't wait to be in the arena for one of the final times this season. And on your way out, make sure you subscribe, like the video, become a member, upgrade your membership, leave a donation if you like. But most importantly, leave a comment in the comment section. What did you think of this letter to season ticket holders, whether you're a season ticket holder or not? Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. Enjoy the Canucks game tonight. God bless, and go Canucks go.